We have made it to another Friday. This is March 3rd, 2017, and time for me to give you a rundown on some of our national and international news. Jeff Sessions, the newly sworn-in Attorney General, has recused himself from the ongoing inquiry into Russia and their potential involvement in the U.S. election because it has now been revealed that he actually had a meeting or two, or I'm not sure how many, with the Russian ambassador prior to the election. This is something that he did not tell Congress during the line of questioning leading up to it. And some are saying that he perjured himself by not talking about it because he had said that he hadn't met with any Russian dignitaries. Some are calling for his outright resignation on both sides of the party. Actually, both the party, listen to that. Both sides of the aisle. It doesn't really matter what party you're in if you're towing the party line, right? So both Republicans and Democrats are calling for him to step aside, which is what he has done. More on the Democratic side, actually calling for him to be prosecuted for perjury. New report shows that China is increasing their military budget, coming as basically every country in the world right now is increasing their military budget. The defense spending is going through the roof around the world. It looks like we are in another arms race. And this isn't just simply between the polar sides, like what we used to see during, remember the Cold War? Yeah, it's not like that anymore. Now everybody's increasing their defense spending. Everybody's stockpiling weapons. Everybody's increasing their military. Ukraine apparently is kind of making things a little rough between Russia and the United States right now in light of the violence going on in Ukraine. It's making it hard for either side, the Russians or the United States, to come to a peace agreement with Ukraine. New research indicates that the Trump travel ban was based on misleading data. You recall Trump during his speech on Tuesday talked about how most of the people who were convicted of terrorism in the United States since 9/11 had come from outside our country. That is categorically not true. Because in order to get to that number, you have to exclude every other terrorism except those that came from outside our country. And then to come around and say most of the terrorism came from outside our country. Well, that's like saying, look, you see this pen? This pen is mostly purple if you exclude all the yellow. A Russian member of parliament says that the terrorist stays in Syria are numbered now that Palmyra has been liberated. And the EU is threatening to introduce visas for U.S. travelers now that the U.S. travel for certain members of the EU. They need visas to get into the U.S. Hosni Mubarak has been acquitted after years. It was been 6 years since the protests that got him out. Remember all those people that got killed? Now he's been acquitted. No fault of his. Also, there's a report that says artificial human life could soon be grown in a lab. What they did with embryos here, they took some stem cells and some other types of cells and put them on a 3D model and put in an environment that kind of approximated a womb. This is using mouse DNA and tissue, and it formed basically a mouse embryo. And they're saying now we can do this with people. We can create human life, artificial life, without an egg or a sperm. I'd like to have somebody talk about the ethics of this before we go any farther with whether we can do this. Should we do this? Will someone please discuss that? And the last story I'm going to mention now, I just want you to check it out for yourself because it'll be part of my commentary today. An university in England has now banned a number of phrases, 34 phrases to be specific, such as right-hand man, gentleman's agreement. Why? Well, because it's not inclusive enough, and they want to have language that is more gender neutral. Welcome to the world of Newspeak. That's going to be my commentary. And if you like what I'm doing, please support me either through Patreon or by a direct subscription at radiofreespeech.com. Thanks very much.